How did Alexandra Eala win that? The crowd are on their feet. Eala barely has the energy to get to the net to congratulate her opponent on a classic.
Alexandra Eala just delivered one of the most jaw-dropping comebacks of the 2026 season. Trailing 4-0 in the final set and staring down match point with the entire crowd frozen in anticipation, the Filipino star looked moments away from defeat. But instead of folding, she dug deep. Eala saved match point against Alexandra Sasnovich and mounted an incredible fight back, storming all the way back to secure her spot in the Abu Dhabi quarterfinals. Here's how she transformed near-certain heartbreak into an unforgettable triumph.
We've just seen Alex Eala coming back against Sasnovich to make it to the quarterfinals of Abu Dhabi. She saved a match point along the way.
Now the big question is this. Does this comeback go down as the greatest moment of Alexandra Eala's career so far? Coming back from 4-0 down in the final set, saving match point, and flipping the entire momentum of the match is the kind of drama that defines champions. It wasn't just about skill, it was about composure, belief, and refusing to lose when everything seemed over. At the same time, we can't ignore her previous wins against top 10 players. Beating elite opponents at their peak proves she can compete and win against the very best in the world. Those victories showcased her level, her preparation, and her ability to perform on big stages against established stars. So, which is more impressive? The stunning comeback that showed her mental toughness under extreme pressure, or the statement wins that proved she belongs among the elite? It's a debate that says a lot about how far her career has already come, and how much bigger her biggest moment might still be.
Oh, she's got so lucky. But Sasnovich should have put that point away.
Alexandra Eala just experienced the kind of match that can shape an entire career. She battled past Alexandra Sasnovich 2-6, 6-4, 7-6 in nearly 3 hours of emotionally draining, momentum-shifting tennis that swung wildly between dominance and disaster. At times, she looked in complete control, dictating rallies and striking with confidence. At other moments, it seemed like the match was slipping completely out of her hands. In the deciding set, the pressure reached its peak. Eala found herself down 4-0 and staring at match point, a situation where most players begin preparing themselves for defeat. The crowd held its breath. Everything suggested it was over. But instead of fading, the 20-year-old Filipino star responded with resilience. She saved match point, steadied her nerves, and began chipping away game by game, point by point, refusing to surrender. What followed was a stunning turnaround built on belief, composure, and sheer competitive will. She clawed her way back, forced the tiebreak, and ultimately sealed one of the most dramatic victories of her young career. This wasn't just a good win or another mark in the record books. It was the kind of comeback players remember for the rest of their lives, the kind that changes how they see themselves under pressure. These are the matches that build confidence, shift trajectories, and sometimes ignite entire seasons.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for the support today. We live to see another day, another round, so please come and support me tomorrow in both singles and doubles. See you!
Let's break down how this match actually unfolded, because the momentum swings were absolutely wild. Sasnovich came out blazing in the first set and completely overpowered Eala. At one point, she won 9 straight service points, dropped just 6 total points on serve the entire set, won 100% of her first serve points, and never even faced a break point. It was pure domination. She broke Eala at 3-1, broke again at 4-2, and calmly served it out 6-2. Eala looked outmatched. The stadium, packed and heavily pro-Filipino, started to get tense. The second set didn't begin much better for Eala. Sasnovich broke immediately to go up 1-0, and it felt like the match might end quickly. But then something shifted. Eala started creating chances, lots of them. She generated 11 break points in the second set alone. Sasnovich fought off most of them, but the cracks began to show. After committing just 4 unforced errors in the first set, Sasnovich sprayed 19 in the second. Her level dipped. Eala's rose. Suddenly, it was a fight. A marathon game at 3-2 saw Eala break through and level the set. From there, she kept applying relentless pressure on Sasnovich's serve. The opportunities kept coming. Finally, in the last game of the set, Eala broke to force a decider. The crowd erupted. Momentum had completely flipped. What looked like a straightforward defeat half an hour earlier had turned into a real battle, and Eala had the energy heading into the third. Except the third set began like a nightmare. Sasnovich stormed out to a 4-0 lead in just 17 minutes. 2 breaks of serve. Comfortable holds. She suddenly looked like the dominant force from set 1 again. The crowd went silent. Eala's body language showed frustration. Everything pointed to Sasnovich closing it out with ease. Then came the moment that changed everything. Facing break point at 0-4, one that would have put her down 5-0, Eala somehow dug in and saved it. She held for 4-1. Still a mountain to climb, but the bleeding stopped. Sasnovich broke again, anyway, and moved ahead 5-2. She was serving for the match. She even had match point on her own serve after nearly 2.5 hours of tennis. This should have been the finish. But Eala refused. She saved match point, broke back for 5-3. The crowd, quiet moments earlier, exploded. Eala held for 5-4. Now Sasnovich had to serve it out again, but the pressure had flipped. She'd already been that close and failed. With the stadium roaring behind Eala, Sasnovich tightened. Eala broke to level at 5-5. Total chaos in the stands. What had seemed inevitable 20 minutes earlier was now wide open again. Both players held serve to force a tiebreak. And at that point, it felt like all the momentum belonged to Eala. She had clawed back from 0-4, saved match point, and was feeding off the crowd's energy. The tiebreak was tense. Sasnovich led 5-4. Once again just 1 point from victory, with the match on her racket. But Eala won the final 3 points. 7-5 in the breaker. The stadium erupted. Eala collapsed to the court in celebration. Sasnovich stood frozen, stunned, unable to process how a match she had nearly won multiple times had slipped through her fingers. The stats from this match are absolutely insane. Eala actually lost the total points count 121-111. She won 10 fewer points than Sasnovich and still won the match. That almost never happens in tennis. It proves one thing. She didn't win the most points, she won the most important ones. The break points, the pressure moments, the match point, those are the points that decide matches. And in those situations, Eala delivered. Sasnovich played a high level of tennis for long stretches and still walked away with a loss. That has to be heartbreaking. To be that dominant statistically and come that close multiple times, only to fall short, it's devastating. What this win meant to Eala, her on-court interview showed just how much it meant. These moments are moments I've only dreamed about. Selling out stadiums is insane. Being in these matches, they're the ones that stick with you. And I've had a lot of them in the past year.
So, I'm really happy with this win.
She knows this wasn't just another victory. Comebacks like that, down 0-4 in the third, saving match point, don't happen often. And when they do, they can shift the course of a season, even a career. She also spoke about something deeper. Finding the fight when everything looked lost. I really tried my best in those moments to fight. I really tried to find the fight. And in the end, when I was coming back, I was able to find it. So I'm really proud of that. That's mental toughness. When a player is down 0-4 in the final set and staring at match point, Most mentally prepare for defeat. They may grab a game or two, but they stop truly believing. Eala didn't stop believing. And that belief changed everything. A massive quarterfinal ahead this win sends her into the quarterfinals against number 2 seed Ekaterina Alexandrova, the world number 10, who just crushed Diana Schneider 6-3, 6-0 in the previous round. That's a serious test. But after surviving what Eala just survived, she's walking into that match with enormous confidence. She just clawed her way back from the brink. Facing a seeded opponent doesn't feel as intimidating after you've saved match point and turned a match around like that. This will be her 5th career WTA quarterfinal, an impressive milestone for a 20-year-old. But this one feels different. Coming back from 0-4 down and saving match point builds a different kind of confidence than a straightforward win ever could. The crowd effect. The Filipino crowd played a huge role. Stadium court was packed, and the support never faded, even at 0-4 in the third set. When she saved match point, the noise was deafening. When she broke back, it was chaos. When she won, it felt like a shared celebration. That kind of atmosphere can absolutely shift momentum in tight matches, and Eala acknowledged how much it meant. A possible concern there is one thing to monitor. Eala was managing a leg issue during the match, the same problem she dealt with last week in Manila. She also has doubles to play before the quarterfinal, meaning no full rest day. If that leg becomes a serious limitation, it could affect her ability to move and compete at her highest level against someone as powerful as Alexandrova. Why this victory feels bigger, what makes this win even more powerful, is her recent history. She's been on the opposite side of heartbreak before, holding match points and not closing. She knows how painful that feels. This time, she reversed the story. She was the one who saved match point. She was the one who completed the comeback. That kind of turnaround isn't just a win on paper, it's vindication. It's growth. And for a young player still building her identity on tour, it can be incredibly empowering. When you stack this comeback against the other big moments in Eala's career, it becomes even more fascinating. She's had statement wins before, beating top 10 players in Miami, storming back from 5-1 down in the third set at last year's US Open. Those were huge. They proved she belonged. But this one? This might sit at the very top. Because of the stakes. Because of the packed stadium. Because of the sheer drama. Saving match point after trailing 0-4 in a deciding set and then finishing it in a tiebreak is the kind of storyline you'd expect from a movie script, not a regular tour event. The other side of the story for Sasnovich, this has to be devastating. She played well enough to win. She had match point. She served for the match, twice. She led 4-0 in the third set. Everything pointed to her advancing. And she still lost. That's the kind of defeat that lingers. When you've been that close and it slips away, the memory can creep back the next time you're serving for a match or holding match point. Doubt can be subtle, but powerful. Context from the rest of the draw. Elsewhere in Abu Dhabi that day, there were impressive performances. Alexandrova dropped just 3 games in a dominant win. Sarah Sorabi's Tormo, or another upset winner, knocked off a seeded player in straight sets. Sone Cardle cruised past a lucky loser 6-0, 6-3. All solid results. But none had the emotional weight of Eala's comeback. None carried the "how did that just happen?" feeling that makes a match unforgettable. Even with defending champion Belinda Bencic withdrawing due to illness, opening up the draw slightly, that doesn't take away from what Eala did. She still had to save match point. She still had to claw back from the brink. The Alexandrova opportunity now comes a massive opportunity. If Eala can somehow upset Alexandrova, and after this, who's confidently counting her out, she'd be into the semi-finals of a WTA 500. That would mark a career-best result and likely push her ranking up significantly. Even if she falls short, the value of this Sasnovich win goes beyond one tournament. The mental breakthrough alone is priceless. At the professional level, tennis is as mental as it is physical. Now she knows. She can save match point. She can erase a 0-4 deficit in a final set. She can win a deciding tiebreak under maximum pressure. That belief becomes part of a player's identity. And once it's there, it changes how you compete in future tight matches. The crowd as a weapon. There's another factor that can't be ignored: the crowd. The Filipino support in Abu Dhabi created an atmosphere that fueled her comeback. Not every player has that kind of backing. Knowing she can generate that energy and channel it when she needs it most is a weapon. Crowd energy doesn't win matches by itself. But in moments of doubt, it can keep belief alive for just one more point. And sometimes one more point is all you need. The next 24 hours, now the challenge shifts. She has to recover from nearly 3 hours on court. Manage the lingering leg issue. Possibly play doubles. Prepare to face a top 10 opponent. That's a lot to handle for a 20-year-old. But if this match proved anything, it's that she can handle adversity.